molecules called lipids. Thicker areas are enriched in cholesterol. Inflammation in nearby cells sends a signal through membrane proteins that sets off a cascade of events inside the cell. Structural proteins give the cell's membrane stability and spatially organized proteins. The interior of the cell is filled with actin filaments that are held together by a variety of proteins and are organized into a complex gel-like structure. The actin filaments are always changing. They readily assemble from component parts to make new filaments. They can also disassemble when severed. Microtubules made of tubulin also crisscross the cell, forming and unforming as needed. They serve as walkways on which motor proteins transport vesicles throughout the cell. The microtubules and actin filaments form a skeleton which loosely traps organelles and determines the architecture of cells. The nucleus holds the cell's DNA and is separated from the rest of the cell by a membrane. It sends out instructions called messenger RNA, which are translated into proteins by ribosomes. Some of the proteins stay in the cell interior, while other proteins are imported into organelles, such as the mitochondria, which provides the cell's energy. For proteins that will be secreted or become part of the cell membrane, the ribosome docks on the endoplasmic reticulum where the proteins accumulate and undergo initial processing. They are then transported in vesicles along the microtubules to the Golgi apparatus, which attaches sugars and further processes the proteins. Fully processed proteins are transported to the cell membrane and released. A signal from inflamed cells leads to a clustering of proteins called integrins. Which change shape and interact with proteins on the cells that make up the blood vessel's wall. Additional signals cause a reorganization of the cell skeleton. These strong interactions stop the white blood cell. The white blood cell can now slip between the cells of the vessel's wall and go to the inflamed tissue.
So this is inside a cell?